All right. Guess what, boys and girls? We are back. We are back with another episode of Unqualified Analysis. I left you for a week. I apologize. I can't promise I'll never do it again. In fact, it's more than likely that I will. However, I do apologize. I missed you all. I hope y'all missed me too. I hope y'all made some money last week, because if you're tailing me, absolutely you did. 5-1 on the picks last week, man. Almost a clean sweep right up until that Monday night game. I was watching that game with a Steelers fan, and let me tell you, boy oh boy, words cannot describe. I mean, I feel like I was equally as devastated as she was for losing the bet alongside of her. I mean, that would have been a clean week. That would have been a 6-0 week if we got the Steelers on that one. Unfortunately, Dak Prescott, in an emotionally confusing sort of turn of events, ripped the heart right out of my chest, ripped my cohort's heart right out of her chest. It was a tough time. It was a tough time for all of us, but we won the other 5. Folks, that's what's going on. We're red hot right now. We are well on our way to the best year that we've ever had. And I'm excited for y'all to come on the ride with me. It's gonna be good times. Anywho, so I've been kind of thinking about how I'm going to do this episode here. I think we're going to do about the most lightning fast rundown of both the NFL and college from last week, just so we're all up to date and on the same page of everything that's happening. Basically, I'm just going to run through this as quick as possible. Then we're going to turn around, and you know what? I should probably open up the page so that we're looking at the right thing. We're going to preview the games at the end of this episode, and obviously I'm going to get you some picks. I got 7 this week. 7 big boy picks. Have not checked if the number is still available, unfortunately. You're just going to have to do your own research on that one. But this one is also going to be coming out literally as soon as I'm done editing. Like, I'm going to put this out, I mean, directly after I'm done recording this, or as soon as I possibly can. There's no delay on this one. It's not coming out Saturday morning. This one's coming out Friday night, same day. So I don't even have to adjust the days for pre-recording. It's pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. So let me just give me a second to pull up the games for next week, and then we're just gonna get into this thing here in just a second. So uno momento, por favor. Yeah. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, you and me. How are you guys doing out there while I'm pulling this stuff up? I could easily cut this out, but don't feel like doing that. Let me talk to my people here while I'm just kind of killing time. I mean, are y'all well? Y'all good? Y'all good out there? I'm doing fantastic. Your boy is blessed right now. I'll tell you what. Your boy went from 0 luck for many years to sometimes I question whether life is real. I mean, it is wild how things have come along for your boy, and yeah, I'll leave it like that. I hope all of you are one day as lucky as I have been over the past several months here. And with that, I've got what I needed pulled up. So we're gonna flip things on their head this time around. We're gonna go NFL first, and then we're gonna go college. We're gonna run through this right now. Actually, you know what? Audible, because I'm stupid. We should really start with college football, because last weekend was fucking insane. I mean, insane stuff. We had, I believe it was 4 of the top 10, 5 of the top 11, if you count USC in there, go down last week. Some of them in convincing fashion, all of them in fairly embarrassing fashion. And that's not even to count that at one point in the game against Cal, Miami was down 35-10. Then, of course, you know, Cam Ward shows why he is a tantalizing NFL prospect right now, and gunslings him right into a win. Questionable officiating, but, you know, the targeting call, I can see why it wasn't called there. So, I mean, it's not like you're getting a whole lot of home cooking there on the West Coast. I mean, especially not in a road environment. I believe much more in the home field sort of cooking, I suppose, where it's not necessarily... Well, in Miami's case, they've had some interesting run of luck that just kind of broke their way in a fascinating turn of events within the ACC, which makes me question, but I digress. But for the most part, it's mostly just home cooking. A lot of hometown calls, generally. That's the direction it usually goes in. That's why home field advantage is such a big thing. I digress, though. Let's just go straight through what happened last week. Obviously, Oregon took care of business 31-10. They're setting up a huge matchup here in this classic October 12th that we've been waiting for literally since the schedule came out. So they got a big one against Ohio State, but they take care of business this week. They're 5-0. They moved all the way up to number 3 after the chaos of this past week, and that sets up a number 2 versus number 3 matchup in Autzen Stadium over there in Eugene, Oregon. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. UNLV, they lose to Syracuse. This is why I didn't want to bet on this game. Really, I should have grown a sack and bet on UNLV. Being favored by that much, I get it's at home, but being favored by that much against a Power 4 opponent, I just don't necessarily buy it. And obviously, Syracuse comes out here. They win in overtime. Kyle McCord, not exactly the most flashy yards per attempt numbers, but I mean 40 for 63, 355, 3 touchdowns. He was rock solid in this game. And I'm going to tell you, the new quarterback for UNLV, what's his name again here? Malik Williams. He went 21 of 25, 227, 9.1 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, also added a running touchdown on the ground. He's better than Matthew Sluka. There's no two ways about it. He is providing a passing element that Matthew Sluka just simply did not provide. So we made a big deal out of it. I made a big deal out of it. But was losing Sluka to the portal really that big of a deal? And did he enter the portal really just because Malik Williams is going to take his job? I don't know, but I don't think they were too sad to see Sluka go out the door. And I think the quotes from inside the building kind of spoke to what they knew they had in Malik Williams. And that's, hey, there's still only one loss. I think they still have a big matchup coming up here with Boise State where they can get a good resume building win. They're not out of things as far as the G5 bid is concerned for the college football playoff, but we move on. The most hilarious upset of the week, and shame on me for really just burying it behind 2 games on Friday that really didn't matter a whole lot. That's harsh, but you understand what I'm saying. Alabama goes on the road to Nashville in Vanderbilt, a stadium that's been under construction since well before I was born. They go on the road to Vanderbilt, and they lose 40-35 to Vanderbilt. Let me repeat that. Number 1 Alabama goes on the road to Vanderbilt, and they lose. Just insanity. Absolute insanity. You would think that Alabama would, they've shaken the cobwebs out a little bit. They're ready to go here versus Vanderbilt. I get it. You're coming off of a big win versus Georgia, but this is Alabama, man. You got to be up for every single week because you're Vanderbilt's Super Bowl. Absolutely. And Vanderbilt celebrated like they won the Super Bowl because they essentially did for their season. Just embarrassing from Alabama, and I'm not sure where they go from here, but I do know Kalen DeBoer is about to get bullied. He's about to get bullied real hard, and we're all, hey, if you want some real laughs this week, and you just enjoy listening to crazy people, go ahead and tune into Paul Feinbaum's show this week, because I am sure the Alabama faithful is going to come out in force. In absolute, well, if you've listened all week, because this did happen last week, you probably know whether or not they did, and obviously they did. But you're seeing now, Alabama fans are an insane breed of people, and hey, Kalen DeBoer, you better keep winning. That's all I gotta say, because I like you. I think you're a good coach, but you're standing in front of a pack of ravenous dogs, and you want to appease them to the best of your ability, and the only way to appease them is winning football games. So I would recommend you start doing that, Kalen, or keep doing that. I would try to avoid losing another game against a team that you are very much expected to win, like 100% of the time. Huge win for Vanderbilt, though. They took the goalpost down. They threw them in the river. They walked the goalposts 3 miles from the stadium down to Broadway. I think people just think when they saw that the goalposts were going to Broadway, they just thought, oh, the stadium's right next to Broadway. That's not the case, folks. It's a 3-mile hike carrying literal goalposts from a football field to get to Broadway. That's Vanderbilt had an all-time night. If you were a student of Vanderbilt that night, you're going to remember that night for the rest of your life. That's absolutely one of those legendary nights that is going to stay with you until you are on your deathbed. I feel happy for those Vanderbilt fans. You're a bad person if you feel otherwise for Vanderbilt, quite honestly. It's a little embarrassing, obviously, that Mississippi State is the worst team in the SEC this year, and Vanderbilt is ahead of us. but they've been so bad for so long. I mean, you got to be happy with them whenever they do stuff like this, and I absolutely am. Shout out to Vanderbilt, Alabama. You better keep it going. Ohio State beat Iowa 35-7. Impressive win. We'll just get that out of the way. I mean, especially against this Iowa defense. Will Howard went 21-25, 209, 4 touchdowns through the air. It was nothing short of impressive. Nothing short of impressive in this game, and he actually accounted for all 5 touchdowns because he did score one on the ground too. I mean, Will Howard was spectacular in this game, and this Ohio State team looks like it's rounding into form at the exact right moment to capitalize. That huge matchup this week. I can't understate the magnitude of that Oregon matchup. It might be the most consequential game all season. Oh, by the way, Georgia does play Texas next week, so we'll have to see how that one works out. Tennessee, this is our second huge upset that we're going to be talking about. They go on the road to Arkansas, and hey, man, in the words of Josh Pate here, and I'm not sure he originated the phrase, but he's the first one that I heard use it. You don't walk into Vietnam and come out without scars, man. And that's exactly what happened to Tennessee in this one. They get stunned. Nico looks like he is not quite what we expected him to be coming into this year. And part of that's on us. We set some expectations that were entirely too high for the kid. But at the same time, Arkansas gets a win it desperately needs. Maybe saves Sam Pittman's job. Like, there's a real chance at this point that Arkansas is 4-2. I probably expected him to be like the inverse of that, 2-4 at this point. So, I mean, the fact that they were able to beat Tennessee at home, take advantage of all the advantages you have in order to do that, that's just good stuff from Arkansas. Credit where credit is due. Great job by Sam Pittman back against the wall. You hire a guy that you know everyone around Fayetteville wants to replace you with. That was an interesting way of saying that. You knew when you hired Bobby Petrino that the people around the program wanted Bobby Petrino to be the head coach, and you still did it because you know what? You had faith in yourself, and you knew that if the hire worked out, you were going to keep your job. And I think that's exactly what's going on with Sam Pittman. And I'm interested to know what the political situation is behind the scenes here, whether they're really trying to find a way to get him out, or if they're very, very happy with the job that he's done this year. I hope it's the latter. Because the former would be shady, it would suck, but it would also be very college football of them. But huge win for Arkansas. Tennessee, it's not over. I mean, that's the main thing to get out of this. It's not over. You have opportunities on the schedule going forward. And it's the 12-team playoff. There's going to be opportunities to get this thing going here and keep this ship afloat. But this is a bad loss, and it kind of showed the holes in this team. Tennessee is really the inverse of what we expect from a Josh Heupel football team right now, where you're not getting enough out of the quarterback right now. The offense is kind of sputtering at times, and the defense is really carrying your team. I mean, James Pierce, he's a bona fide top 5 pick, man. He is the real deal, and that whole defense is nasty for Tennessee in a way that it's never been as nasty as it has been this year in previous years under Josh Heupel. I do think that's a formula that you can win with, though. I still very much believe in Tennessee, and I think Nico's going to get better as the season goes along. This is his first full season starting, so by the end of the year, I think you're going to really be seeing him rounding into form. We just maybe, might want to pump the brakes initially on his ascension there. He's got a lot of opportunities to improve, so we'll see what happens there. Awesome win for Arkansas, though. Awesome. Auburn kind of looked bad against Auburn, but Georgia. Auburn looked bad against Auburn. Georgia looked bad against Auburn in this game, but they do get the win, 31-13. Carson Beck was once again efficient, 23-29, 240, 2 touchdowns, but the offense just looks stagnant at the moment. And with the amount of talent that they have, it should never look stagnant. And I mean, you gotta lay it at the feet of Mike Bobo with what's going on right there on the offense. They need to improve schematically if they want to compete for a national championship, because they do have the horses to do it, obviously. I mean, it's Georgia. It's Georgia under Kirby Smart. You know what you're getting from them every year. It's studded with 5 stars all throughout this offense, and still it's just not clicking the way that it should, and that falls at the feet of the offensive coordinator. They got to figure that out. Auburn, 2-4, 0-3 in the SEC. I don't know where the first win in the SEC comes. So good luck to you all. Oh yeah, also another Georgia player got arrested for something bad, beating a pregnant woman allegedly. So that's where we're at with Georgia football. That's kind of what we've grown to expect. There's a real culture problem in Georgia football, and I have a hard time not seeing this end poorly. If I had more time, I'd elaborate a little bit more, just kind of on my thought process on that. But the way I see it, man, there is a clear problem there, and it seems like it's only getting worse. As much as we made fun of Georgia, the players were never getting arrested as often as they are getting arrested now for varied charges. Kirby Smart's got to do something drastic. I mean, absolutely drastic discipline-wise. Otherwise, this is going to spiral. I don't know when. I don't know how. And I don't know what's going to look like. But if it keeps persisting like this, you can win all you want. At some point, it's going to reach a tipping point where it just spirals out of control. So that's my advice to Kirby Smart. It was a joke before, but you just can't be taking this lightly anymore. It's a weekly occurrence at this point that someone on the Georgia team gets arrested, and until Kirby Smart kind of changes the way that he does discipline with his football team, I don't see it changing. I really don't. So that's something to monitor, but hey, Georgia, you got some things to figure out. Still a great football team, though. UCLA goes on the road to Penn State, and they lose 27-11. Penn State didn't look great, but they won. They were supposed to. UCLA is bad, so there you go. Miami won in a thriller versus Cal, 39-38. Cam Ward, 437, 2 touchdowns. He had 270 yards and I believe 3 total touchdowns in the fourth quarter alone. And yeah, dude was cooking, absolutely cooking in this game. So he's spectacular. Got a little bit of hosiery there. Excuse me, my goodness, it was a powerful sneeze. Powerful, I say. Might have got a little bit of, home cooking from the ACC on the calls there. I'm not that conspiratorial about it, though. So, hey, you got the win that you needed to get. I honestly think Clemson looks a lot better than them, though. That's what I'm taking away from this. Big shocker of the week on multiple fronts. Texas A&M blew Missouri out of the water. I mean, I thought that they would win. I think I ended up betting them on my own. Actually, no, I remember. I didn't place a bet. I thought I had placed a bet and I didn't, so that's tragic. But Texas A&M ends up winning 41-10 versus Missouri. Blew them out of the water. Connor Wigman comes back, and hey, I owe that guy an apology. I definitely thought that the backup that came in was going to take his job. He came back and shut me right up, man. And hey, credit where it's due. 18 of 22, 276, played a damn near flawless game. Didn't turn the ball over once. I mean, granted, didn't score a touchdown, but who cares? You didn't turn the ball over, and when you're getting 236 on the ground, 5 touchdowns, I don't think it really matters that the quarterback isn't getting touchdowns so long as he's moving the ball and not turning the ball over. Very impressive win from Texas A&M. I love everything I'm seeing from Mike Elko. It's everything that you weren't seeing from Jimbo Fisher, and I'm excited to see where this program goes, because this is a program that if you get the right coach in there, they have the resources to be a contender, and I think Mike Elko might be that right coach. So watch out for Texas A&M going forward. The SEC might get even more ridiculous. So just watch that. Watch that going forward. Missouri, they're just not that good. I mean, they were 4-0 to start. They were number 9 coming into this week, but they're just not that good. I mean, Brady Cook looked inept in this game. Luther Burden is the entire offense, pretty much. There's really not much going on outside of Luther Burden here. The offensive line doesn't look great. They were very much stymied on the ground versus Texas A&M in this one. I just don't think Missouri is good enough to make the playoff. That's my read on the whole situation. Okay, we're going to try and go through this a little bit faster because I'm dragging ass on this one. Michigan goes on the road to Washington. Washington was favored in this one. Not much of an upset. Shows you how much the books respect the AP. Michigan was number 10, and they were a dog on the road against Washington. So Washington wins this 27-17. Michigan they're everything that I thought they were, pretty much. We don't need to waste a whole lot of time on them. I think by the end of the year, they're probably going to be outside of the top 25, and that's no indication of how the rest of the year is going to go, or the rest of the tenure under Sharon Moore is going to go. Just year one, not dealt the greatest set of cards in the world, but we keep moving from there. Minnesota hosts USC. Beats them 24-17. Gutsy win from Minnesota. Once again, USC just not ready for Big Ten football. I think they're going in the right direction. I think they're doing the right things. They're just not ready for Big Ten football yet. And hey, we'll see if they have the patience to let Lincoln Riley figure it out. That's another situation to monitor there. Ole Miss takes care of business. They beat South Carolina 27-3. I was dumb enough to let my emotions take over and bet South Carolina plus 9.5. How foolish I was. What a childish young man I have become. But Ole Miss gets the job done. That sets up a huge matchup with LSU this week, which, hey, a little foreshadowing might feature on the picks segment. Stay tuned. Clemson gets the job done versus Florida State, 29-13, wins us some money. Clemson looking like the class of the ACC right now. Hey, I might owe Dabo an apology when this whole thing is said and done, though I'm kind of set in that they're good enough to win the ACC, they're good enough to make the playoff, they're good enough to be a high seed even. But at the end of the day, when they face off against an Ohio State, you already saw it this year when they faced off against Georgia. There's just a ceiling, and Clemson should be able to surpass that ceiling, but I'm willing to bet they still can't, unfortunately. And until I'm proven wrong, I'm standing on that. So, I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Clemson. Don't get me wrong. I think they're a really good team. Are they championship good? I don't know. I don't think so, but we're going to find out. Florida State sucks. 1-5, and they just got hit with a hurricane this week. Boy, things are not good right now in Florida State. So good luck to you. I don't really care, though. Iowa State took care of business, man. They're 5-0. They beat Baylor 43-21. Rocco Beck, 16-25, 277, and 2 touchdowns through the air. Everything looking good. Iowa State's offense seemingly coming around. Granted, it was against Baylor, but you love to see it. You love to see it in this little week 6 matchup here. Week 5, actually. I apologize. So yeah, well, no, it's week 6. I'm all out of sorts, I say. So yeah, Iowa State gets the job done. Boise State, Ashton Genty's a monster. 13 carries for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Boise State's 62-30 win over Utah State. That's just a hilarious stat line. Also, shout out Spencer Petras. Did not know you were still in college. You need to update your LinkedIn, young man. He went for 372 and 3 touchdowns, though, which kind of speaks to a little bit of alarm on the Boise State side as far as the defense is concerned, because there's no world in which Spencer Petras should be going 372 and 3 touchdowns on you. That's concerning. That's quite concerning. SMU got an upset over Louisville, 34-27. That's big time. Louisville's a bit of a disappointment for me. SMU, I'm very impressed with. I think they've been much better than I thought that they would be, and Rhett Lashley's got the boys running over there with SMU, and we'll see what they can do in the ACC. They're very much a dark horse right now. No one's thinking about them, but they're going to be forced to if SMU keeps winning like this. Louisville, though, disappointing. That's really all I can say. Really disappointing. You hate to see that. And I just don't know how good they are this year. I mean, the offense is fairly similar to what it was last year, just kind of, average to slightly above average, but not great. Defense is a disappointment. They've not been very good at all this year, and I'm just not sure Louisville has the legs that I thought it would to win this conference. So I guess I'm kind of throwing them to the side right now, but hey, there's a whole other half of the season to get this thing figured out, and we'll see if they do. Indiana gets the win to go to 6-0 versus Northwestern. They win 41-24. Curtis Rourke, man, one of the underappreciated guys so far. And Indiana, another team, we're going to have to start talking about them as a possible playoff contender if they keep winning like this going into the Big Ten. They have an outside shot at 11-1. And if they're at 11-1, they're in the playoff. Make no mistake about it. They're absolutely in the playoff. Curtis Rourke, 25 of 33, 380, 3 touchdowns. You may remember him at Ohio last year. He is putting up big numbers with Indiana. Kurt Cignetti, man. I don't know if he's going to stay at Indiana. My guess is he's going to do a hell of a job here for the next 2 to 3 years and then move up to one of the premier jobs in college football. he's impressed the hell out of me. He's legit. He is the real deal, and I think he's going to be a really good coach in, major college football for a long time. He's got the stuff. He's absolutely got the stuff. He's a little bit on the older side, but hey, man, he's got a lot of legs to continue to build something here at the Power 5, and I'm excited to see what he does with it. So that's it for the top 25. Let's see what we're doing on time. Oh boy, we are dragging ass. We're gonna have to breeze through the NFL here in this one, but I'm just gonna quickly run through this whole thing. Start with the ACC. Any unranked matchups I didn't talk about? Virginia beat Boston College. Hey, Virginia's 4-1. Impressive. I would say impressive. Boston College still 4-2. Nothing to cry about. Pittsburgh, sneaky 5-0. They beat North Carolina 34-24. I'm still not sure how good they are. They're in a bit of a trap situation here with Cal coming to town this week. Something to monitor, but they're 5-0. Wake Forest beat NC State. NC State's just an embarrassment. Don't want to say anything more about them. Virginia Tech beat Stanford 31-7, and then Georgia Tech beats Duke 24-14 to hand Duke their first loss of the season. So that's it for the ACC. Let's take a look at the Big 12 here, going in alphabetical order. Houston beat TCU. TCU's an embarrassment this year. Sonny Dykes. Talk about a man that really made the most of what he had in his first year, man. He would already be fired probably if it wasn't for that first season. He's had a real tough go of it after all those players graduated. So he lost there. West Virginia beat Oklahoma State. Embarrassing team. 31-14, West Virginia beat Oklahoma State. Just an embarrassment. Garrett Green only had to throw the ball 15 times on him. They blew him out. Absolutely blew him out. What the hell happened to Oklahoma State this year, man? Florida beat UCF 24-13. UCF, another big-time disappointment. They are bad this year. KJ Jefferson, hey, the people that were saying KJ Jefferson wasn't good, you're right, man. Kendall Briles is apparently an offensive genius. So, hey, hats off to him, I suppose. UCF stinks. They're real bad this year. Hey, Florida 3-2. They're hanging in there. We'll see if they do enough to keep old G5 Billy's job going, but hey, they're looking okay right now. And Kansas, another big-time embarrassment. They lost to Arizona State 35-31. Arizona State, sneaky 4-1. Sneaky 4-1 this year. I choose to focus on them more so than Kansas, who looks just bad. Real. They're 1-5. They look like the old Kansas right now, and you hate to see it. You simply hate to see it. But Arizona State, sneaky 4-1, very much in the mix for things in the Big 12. In a year that, in such a wide open conference, I don't think anyone really expected. It's going to be interesting to watch here down the stretch. Texas Tech beat Arizona 28-22. Another sneaky 5-1 team. Taj Brooks is a star. 21 carries, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns in this game. He's the type of guy that can carry you to a Big 12 championship, and they're 3-0 in Big 12 play right now. They're very much in the mix for things. Big 12 is the most wide open conference in the nation. We just got to enjoy it right now because it's heated. It's heated and it's awesome. Okay, so Big 10 now. What do we got going on in the Big 10 that wasn't already talked about? Wisconsin beat Purdue 52-6. That's a win that Wisconsin needed bad, real bad. Nebraska won a rock fight with Rutgers 14-7. I think you kind of knew this one was coming just based on how both coaches are between Greg Schiano and Matt Rule in this one. Nebraska ultimately just had more horses. They get the win. They're 5-1. Still very much in the thick of things in the Big Ten. They got a big-time matchup versus Ohio State coming up here in a couple of weeks. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Ethan Kaliak-Manis, 15-37. Need I say any more? He not good in this game. And he was the leading passer. So I can only imagine what Dylan Raiola did in this game. Okay, so that's it for the Big Ten. Let's look at the SEC to round this thing out. Any unranked matchups in the SEC? No, nothing we haven't already talked about. So yeah, that's it for college football. What are we doing on time? Okay, we're at 29 minutes. Okay. Sorry for the silence. I had to go ahead and just take a quick swig. Okay, so let's round this thing out with the NFL over this past week. So that's college football. Crazy week in college football, and we got a crazy week for different reasons coming up in October 12th. I don't need to say anything but October 12th. You already know what that means. Also, I excuse myself preemptively, but I had to clear out some space in the nostrils. When I talk for too long, get a little congested up in there. A little bit of blockage going on. You just need that space free. So yeah, I had to sniffle a little bit. I apologize. A little bit disgusting, but let's get into the NFL stuff, shall we? Buccaneers go on the road to the Falcons, and the Falcons win a thriller, man. 36-30. The Falcons outscored the Buccaneers 16-3 in fourth quarter and overtime, including that game-winning touchdown for Darnell Mooney, I believe it was. Is that right? I want to give credit to the person that deserves it. So give me just a second. It's Kadero Hodge, actually. 45-yard pass from Kirk Cousins to win this game. And, by the way, just a little snapshot of Kirk Cousins' stat line here. 42 of 58, 509 yards, and 4 touchdowns with just 1 pick. Insane stat line. I mean, this is the Kirk Cousins that you were hoping you would see whenever they brought him in free agency. Big time days all around. I mean, I'll just go down the stat sheet here for the Falcons. Running back wise, there wasn't a whole lot going on there. You just kind of take what you get at this point. Bijan Robinson was efficient. They just didn't lean on him much because, they got behind, and at that point, you've really got to turn on the gas and get this thing going. So they kind of strayed away from the running game. Drake London, though, 12 receptions, 154 yards, and 1 touchdown. That's 12 receptions on 13 targets, by the way. He was balling in this game. Darnell Mooney, 9 receptions, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had the best game that he has had as an Atlanta Falcon. Kyle Pitts, welcome to the action, my friend. 7 receptions, 88 yards. Didn't catch a touchdown, but the dude was great in this game. And then obviously Kadero Hodge caught the game-winning touchdown, 45 yards. That's not even mentioning Ray McLeod, who had 6 receptions on 9 targets for 66 yards. This is a deep team, a deep offense. The offense kind of rounded into what I expected them to be coming into this year. Big time performance from the Atlanta Falcons, and just we'll see if they can carry this momentum into the rest of division play. But I think they've sent the message to the rest of the division that they are not to be trifled with this year. That's going to be an exciting NFC North race this year. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word race. I mean, my brain is pudding right now. I mean, I flew back in. I landed at like midnight, and then I got back to the apartment at like 1. So, forgive me. I also woke up at 7 this morning. So, it's been a long, long day. But we're just going to run through this. Vikings, they're 5-0. They beat the Jets 23-17. I'm not even going to touch on the Vikings, though, because we have limited time right now. The Jets fired Robert Saleh after this game. They're 2-3. I understand it's not the way you want to start, but the defense wasn't the problem, folks. They even did very, very well against Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold had his worst game of the season in this past week, and ultimately the offense couldn't come through. And I seem to remember that the play caller of the offense, the guy that's, they call him the offensive coordinator in this sport, I seem to remember that he was Aaron Rodgers' handpicked guy. I understand they hired him before Aaron Rodgers got there, but come on, man. I wasn't born yesterday. I know exactly what's going on there, and everyone with a working set of eyes and good logical thoughts can understand what was happening there. So the offense underperforms, causes you to lose games. The defense is still playing well. They're still one of the better units in the league, and all of a sudden he's out on his ass. It's bullshit. It's exactly what the Jets are. They're a shit show. They're a poorly run organization where the owner meddles too much. There's too much glad-handing to a star like Aaron Rodgers. You've given him too much power, and you can't put that genie back in the bottle, unfortunately. It is what it is. The Jets are a shit show. They're not winning shit this year. I mean, good luck to Jeff Ulbrich, who is now the interim head coach. You're probably not going to get hired as the full-time guy because you demoted Nathaniel Hackett away from being play caller. Todd Downing is going to be the play caller going forward. We'll see if that improves things. And honestly, if it does improve things, maybe the GM Aaron Rodgers will want to keep you around going in the next year. We know Joe Douglas is just neutered at this point. He's ineffectual. He might as well not even be in the room when they're making decisions because the quarterback and the owner are making all the decisions there. Jets are a shit show. Vikings 5-0 though. Going into the bye week, we might see TJ Hawkinson in week 7. That's one to look forward to, and that's something to monitor because they did just open up his practice window coming off that ACL injury. When he comes back, Vikings might be the best team in the NFC, and I think they already are, but they're going to really cement themselves as the best team in the NFC if they keep trending the way that they're trending. That's another thing to watch, and that's not just homerism. That's objective fact. They are legit this year. They're really, really good, and I'll leave it at that. Bears, they're starting to round into form. Obviously, it was against the Panthers that they played, but they get the win 36-10. They hit the over. Thank you very much. And Caleb Williams goes 20 of 29, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns. Starting to look a lot like the guy that I was sold on whenever that he was drafted. It just goes to show you can't just always compare apples to apples on these things. Some people progress faster than others. Caleb Williams seems to be coming along nicely. So I love to see that. The Bears get the win 36-10. They got another game that they have to win this week versus the Jaguars. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun, and I'm watching the Bears closely. I still think they're the worst team in the division, but that's not a diss. That's not a slight. That's just how insane the NFC North is this year. Ravens win one in a thriller versus the Bengals, 41-38. The defense, you got to be a little bit scared right now, and I really wish I was able to watch this game. Basically, as soon as I got over the Yucatan Peninsula, there's no more, which kind of gives away where I was going this past week. Sorry if the T-shirt didn't give it away enough. I guess that kind of gave away the general region I was going to. No football after we started flying over a new country, we'll just say. So I wasn't able to see this. I'm disappointed I wasn't able to see this, but this was a show. Absolute quarterback duel in this one. Lamar Jackson goes for 348, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Derrick Henry breaks off a long run in this game. He finishes with 92 yards, 6.1 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. He's really just putting the finishing touches on a Hall of Fame resume. He's going to go into Canton one day. It's just a matter of when, not if. Lamar Jackson, by the way, 400 total yards in this game. He was spectacular. Joe Burrow in this game, not to be outdone, 30 for 39, 392 yards, 10.1 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns. Did throw 1 interception. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, he had the exact same amount of turnovers as Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson lost a fumble. So, hey, this was an absolute quarterback duel. The Bengals defense, we already knew what they were. There's no surprise in that. The Ravens, you got to be a little bit worried about what's going on right now because they have shown on a fairly consistent basis that they are not quite the unit that they were last year, and this might be a little bit of a year of regression for them. They still have some good players. It's just it seems like they have a hard time stopping opposing offenses, so they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to improve in some way. I'm not loving their defense, but their offense is spectacular right now. That was a big-time win. That's a big-time game. Wish I was able to watch more of it. That's my only complaint. Okay, so the Dolphins, they got a disgusting win versus the Patriots, 15-10. I don't even want to think about this game, man. Commanders win against the Browns 34-13. Inexplicably, the Browns are continuing to stick with Deshaun Watson. Just cut bait, man. Just cut bait. You already know my feelings on that whole situation. Jaden Daniels continues to be spectacular. He had 238 yards through the air, 1 touchdown. Not the biggest day in the world, but it helps whenever you're rushing for 82 yards on 7.5 yards per carry on the ground. Didn't rush for a touchdown, but he really was the straw that stirred the drink with this running game. Brian Robinson scored 2 big-time touchdowns. Austin Eckler looks like the Austin Eckler of old. Hey, all the credit in the world to Cliff Kingsbury. I wasn't sure that he could coordinate an offense like this. With a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, man, this Washington offense is one of the best in the entire league right now. It's fun to watch, and who would have thought that the Washington Commanders would be the best team in the NFC East in year one under Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels? Just incredible. Incredible work all around from the new regime there. Let's just hope they keep up this momentum. I do have working eyes, and I did see what happened to Brian Daboll and the Giants after year one. So, temper expectations, but this is a great year one. Great starting point. Way better than I thought they would be. Jaguars, they get their first win of the year versus the Colts. 37-34. They win it in a shootout. Get one in there right before the hurricane hits. Hey, Tank Bigsby looks like he should be the number one running back, which would be not great for me, given that I am a player who has Travis Etienne on their team, on their fantasy team. But hey, he did a hell of a job in this game. Trevor Lawrence had one of those, every so often Trevor Lawrence games where he went 28-34, 371, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Brian Thomas played really well in this game, 122 yards and 1 touchdown. They had a 100-yard rusher, 100-yard receiver, and a 300-yard quarterback. So they were really moving the ball on offense in this game in a way that they have not all year, which I think speaks a lot more to the Colts defense than it does to the strength of the Jaguars offense. But the Jags is still the Jags. Joe Flacco went 33 of 44 for 359 and 3 touchdowns versus the Jaguars defense. Also, no interceptions, by the way. Did lose a fumble, but that's the only mistake he made basically the entire game. He was spectacular in this game. Hey, even A.D. Mitchell, he's not catching the ball a whole lot, but hey, man, completed a ball for 24 yards, so good for him. Shane Steichen doing all he can on the offensive side of the ball. I think he's really wanting to not have Gus Bradley in there is the main thing. So we'll see how that develops. Jim Irsay, a guy that's not afraid to stick his fingers in the pie, so to speak. So we'll monitor that situation going forward here. Okay, so we'll keep it moving from there. I'm going to pause that video so it's not playing in the background. If I can ever hit the pause button, there we go. And we're moving on. Texans get a big win over the Bills, 23-20. Really good game. C.J. Stroud only had 1 touchdown, but 28-38, 331 yards. He looked very good in this game. Hey, gutsy win from the Texans. The Texans are looking like what I expected them to be. Kaimi Fairbairn, the hero of this game, 59-yard field goal as time expired to win it. Texans are legit, man. They are the cream of the crop in that division in the AFC South, which is, all the other teams in the AFC South seem a lot worse than we expected this year. We didn't expect them to be particularly great outside of the Colts, who have very much disappointed. The Texans could really run away with this division. And they have a really solid path to the 1 seed right now. They have a very favorable schedule. Their only loss has been to the Vikings. They're a really good team, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do, especially when Joe Mixon eventually finds his way back into the fold and that run game can start firing on all cylinders again. Broncos, starting to go on a little bit of a run here, man. The Raiders are terrible, but they beat them 34-18. They're starting to score some points. Bo Nix looked downright serviceable in this game. 19-27, 206, 2 touchdowns. The guy, he didn't throw an interception. He added a rushing touchdown in there. Didn't turn the ball over all game. Oh, you see, I need to find a way to get my my Ring Central. I don't know why I just started saying the name of the company. I need to find a way to get my my work phone to stop calling me on my actual phone, because I used it whenever I went on that business trip. It is what it is, man. It simply is what it is. Whatever. We'll keep it moving. That just fills my heart with stress, because I just felt my pocket vibrating, and now I'm totally off. I'm totally off right now. Anyways, hey, the Broncos are looking okay. They're looking all right. Bo Nix is coming along. He's steadily improving. The running game doesn't look fantastic, but hey, Javonte Williams had 18 touches, 111 total yards. He was moving the ball in this game, and Bo Nix was looking okay. The defense played very, very well in this game. You had a pick 6 from Patrick Surtain, who might be on his way to Defensive Player of the Year. We'll have to see what happens with that one. Riley Moss got the first white corner interception of the millennium. So congratulations for ringing in the new millennium with a big time pick. It's great for the culture. Great for the culture, whatever that culture happens to be. You know what I'm saying. So yeah, Broncos get the win. They're 3-2. Hey man, maybe they're not too bad. I still don't think they're very good, but if Bo Nix continues to come along, the defense is legit. If the offense can hold up their end of the bargain, I mean, hey, we'll see what happens with this Denver Broncos team. I mean, they're not going to beat the Chiefs in the division, but hey, maybe they could. I mean, with the way some teams have fallen off, maybe they could find themselves in a playoff position. We'll have to see how this thing goes, and if Bo Nix keeps progressing. Because I mean, don't really have a chance of doing that if Bo Nix doesn't keep progressing. So yeah, something to watch. Something to watch going forward right now. Okay, Cardinals get the win over the 49ers, 24-23. I mean, the 49ers, I mean, I'm less concerned after the Thursday night game that we're going to talk about here in just a sec. 49ers got some issues, man. They're very banged up. They keep losing these games that they traditionally have not lost. I mean, hey, big time win from the Cardinals. Give them all the credit in the world. But the 49ers, man, they have they've got some concerns right now. And again, I'm less concerned after Thursday night, but got some concerns after this game. Good win for the Cardinals, though. Really, really good win. Kyler Murray rallies them past the 49ers. I'm just reading the ESPN headline at this point. So he had like a 50-yard touchdown on the ground. He was spectacular in this game. And he's got a deal with Call of Duty. Hey, memed his way into a bag. So, hey, he's thanking all the haters out there. You're still going to get the kid memes, though. I apologize. I just saw one of those yesterday that made me laugh real hard. So that's going to stick around. That's going to stick around. Packers got a gutsy win 24-19 over the Rams. Romeo Doubs mysteriously suspended in this game, or for this game, rather. He missed 2 straight practices, kind of out of character. Might be some mental health concerns. He was suspended for this game, though. I don't think they expect that going forward, but weird situation there. Packers get the win, though. They rally past them. Rams are 1-4. They might be wanting to look ahead in the draft, I would say here. Giants won against the Seahawks 29-20. This one was real surprising. I mean, without Malik Neighbors, if I was in a state where I could legally bet, I would have bet on the Seahawks in this game, and I would have been dead wrong. I mean, Giants win 29-20. Impressive win. The Giants are all of a sudden 2-3. I still don't think they're very good, but hey man, Brian Daboll, he's fighting for his job right now, and I think he is putting up a hell of a fight. Daniel Jones, once again, with a downright serviceable game. Tyrone Tracy went for 129 yards. I mean, the Seahawks defense is really bad, so you can't take a whole lot from that. Hey, go ahead, Giants. Keep on winning as many games as you want, I suppose. Seattle Seahawks, though, I'm just wondering how good of a team they are. They can't really get anything going on the ground. Their offensive line is just so banged up, it's pretty much impossible for them. Geno Smith was, I mean, hey, congrats to Geno Smith on being something that maybe we never thought that he could be going into this year. I mean, for whatever reason, they only ran the ball 11 times, which is wild to me. And 4 of those were Geno Smith runs. 4 carries for 72 yards. That really inflated the numbers. So they had 9.3 yards per carry. And they were efficient in their other carries. I'm a little confused as to why they weren't running the ball. It's weird to me. I mean, the Giants did dominate time of possession in this game, 37-22. It's not like they had over 40 minutes, though. Like, you still had time where you could have run the ball. A learning moment for Ryan Grubb, for sure. And the Seahawks, I'm just not sure if they have the legs down the stretch. On the good side, good news, though, the NFC West looks a little bit down this year. So there's a lot of space for competition in that division. We'll talk about this here in a little second, but yeah, they got their chance, and it did not go well for them on Thursday night. So we'll just keep it moving from there. You talked about this, but briefly, but Cowboys just ripped my heart out of my chest in this one. We were on the cusp of a 6-0 weekend, and the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, goes down the field on the final possession of the game, just does what great quarterbacks do, scores a touchdown, they win 20-17. Steelers now with 2 straight losses after starting 3-0. They're going to need a bounce-back game big time. Hey, Mr. Unlimited is expected to be the backup. I mean, fully serving backup, no longer on the injury report for this upcoming week. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It feels like who knows how long of a leash Justin Fields has right now, but doesn't feel super long. They really just don't have a good option at quarterback right now. They need to draft a quarterback so bad. The Saints go on the road to the Chiefs and they lose 26-13. After starting 2-0, they've now lost 3 straight, and they are searching for answers right now. The Saints are on a real skid, and I'm not sure how it ends. They're going to need to shape up, though. Chiefs, though, 5-0, very quietly. They haven't been super impressive. All they've done is just win every single week. 26-13, they're going into their bye week, and they look absolutely legit right now. Absolutely legit. Okay, so with that said, let's pull up. Well, first off, let's recap the first game of this coming week here. 49ers, they beat the Seahawks 36-24. Isaac Guerendo ended up being the leading rusher for the 49ers because Jordan Mason got a shoulder injury. He's got an AC joint sprain based on tests today. But Isaac Guerendo, 10 carries for 99 yards. That Shanahan run scheme is personnel proof. You could put me back there. I'd probably rush for 4.5. I mean, I'm not good enough to rush for like 5 or 6, but you probably get a good 4.5 out of me in this Shanahan run scheme. Just baby simple for the running back. It makes everyone great, makes everyone look good. So 49ers get a win that they desperately needed. The Seahawks, not very good. Not very good at all. They gave up 36 points in this game, end up losing 36-24. One of those touchdowns was on a return touchdown from Laviska Shenault, too. So they only really scored 17 points on offense in this game. Thrilling game if you're betting the over, man. I mean, you were having a great time. Unfortunately, though, it's not good enough to win, and I just don't think they got the horses on defense outside of Julian Love to do basically anything on that side of the ball. They're going to have a hard time going forward here, but again, saving grace is that they're in a really bad division. Well, maybe not really bad, but a down division this coming season, I suppose. What are we doing on time? 52 minutes. Not as bad as I thought it would be. We're just going to kind of run through. Excuse me. Had to wet the whistle. Really had to wet the whistle, man. I was starting to get parched. Parched. Get me out of here. I don't want to look at my work phone while I'm at home on the weekend, no less. You guys are lucky I'm doing this, man. You should be grateful. You should be thanking me right now for doing this. I could very easily just be sitting on my couch doing absolutely nothing like I've wanted to do all week. But here I am. Okay, so we're just going to run through the slate of bets. Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. I'm not going to preview. You know what? This is a college football and pro football show. Let's just run through what we've got here real quick, and I'll just stop whenever we have a bet to place. But you guys deserve to understand the scope of what this college football weekend is going to be and what this NFL weekend is going to be. So enough preamble. Let's get into this thing. Northwestern at Maryland. Maryland favored by 10.5. Who knows? I don't really know a whole lot about either of those teams. Excuse me. UNLV, you can get an 18.5 from FanDuel, and that's the best you're going to get as far as betting on UNLV. Utah State's 1-4. I get it's a road game for UNLV, but I would lean towards UNLV in this one. I just think they're a much better team than Utah State, just based on what I've seen. Over-under's like 67.5, 66.5. You can shop around for those numbers. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Utah going on the road to Arizona State. They're favored by 6 in most places. You can get a 6.5 over at FanDuel if you're wanting to bet on Arizona State in this game. It all depends on if Cam Rising is starting. If he's starting, definitely give me Utah. But if he's not, Arizona State's a live dog in this one. Absolutely live dog. This is going to be some classic Big 12 football if we can get this this whole thing going in the right direction. UAB is a 27-point underdog to Army in West Point. Army's very good this year, man, and so is Navy. So is Navy. Make no mistake about it. Oh, man, I need to just keep on moving through this thing, man. This is too much. Wisconsin at Rutgers. Rutgers favored by 1.5. I don't think I actually bet that game. But you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, let's go with Rutgers in this game. I love them at minus 1.5. So yeah, we're gonna add that to the slate. That's the 8th bet of the day. Rutgers minus 1.5. I'll place that bet once we get done here. And just to make sure. Yep, it's 1.5 on Caesars. Actually 1.5 across the board. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Wisconsin's just not a very good team. That's the main thing. So I don't love Wisconsin, and I think, hey, Rutgers is feisty. Rutgers is feisty. I'm sorry, I can't really talk and type at the same time. I'm sorry, but there's the 8th bet of the week. I simply can't put any more on there at this point. Georgia Tech at UNC. UNC is a 3.5-point dog at home in that one. No real lean. Missouri UMass. Missouri favored by 27 in that one. Washington and Iowa. I didn't bet this game. I would lean Iowa in this game. I think they're just, obviously more of a Big Ten team, and I think they can win this game with their physical play. Toledo minus 10.5 versus Buffalo. Whatever. South Carolina's at Alabama. Alabama's favored by 21.5. I have no idea. We're going to find out what Alabama is under Kalen DeBoer. Clemson is minus 20.5 versus Wake Forest. I'm kind of tempted to take that, but it's a lot of points. That's a lot of points, man. So I'll probably stay away, but hey, they're just outside of my my best bet category. So take them if you want to. I certainly wouldn't fault you for doing that. Okay, Cincinnati at UCF. UCF is favored by 3.5 in most places. Penn State is favored by 3.5 against USC on the road, and we are taking that. We're jumping on that one. Penn State minus 3.5 at USC. They are just, I don't know why USC is only a 3.5-point dog. Maybe the odds makers are seeing something that I'm not, but I think this Penn State plays a style of football that gives USC fits, and we've seen it. We've seen teams that are very physical, teams with a very good defense, have given USC a lot of trouble, and this Penn State team is the best version of one of those teams. I think they're going to win, and I think they're going to win comfortably, so I'm taking them minus 3.5 this coming week. Oh, goodness. I think I might have passed one that I actually bet on. Give me just a second. Because, no, I got it all mixed up here. So, yeah. We'll leave that to the side for now. I got confused, got distracted. Never mind. We'll keep it moving from here. What do we got? I got to find my place again. Already talked about that one. Purdue is a 23-point underdog or 22.5-point underdog. You can get that 22.5 at FanDuel, BetMGM. Or against Illinois. Excuse me. My brain is fried right now. I do apologize. So that's, 22.5. Good. I don't really have a lean on that. Texas at Oklahoma. Texas is favored by 14.5. You can get a 15.5 in actually a lot of different places if you're betting on Oklahoma. Most notably Caesars DraftKings and Caesars DraftKings, Bet365 are the places that you can get that 15.5. So that's something to keep in mind. The half point there worries me. I don't love that, so I'm staying away from it. It's a rivalry game. Oklahoma backs against their wall. backs against the wall. They want to come out and they want to beat their rival. I'm staying away from it. It's hard to predict these sorts of scenarios. So Louisville at Virginia Tech, or not Virginia Tech, just Virginia, -7. Get 7 in most places right now. It's a 7.5 over to MGM and FanDuel at the moment. Cal at Pittsburgh. Did I ultimately end up adding that to my card? I did not. I lean Pittsburgh in this one. It's a long road trip for Cal, but I just saw Cal take. I just saw Cal take Miami down to the wire. So, and they were up 35-10. I'm just not. You're gonna have to show me one more time, Pittsburgh. I know you're 5-0. You're gonna have to show me one more time before I believe in you. I'm staying away from this one. Northern Illinois. Nah, why am I even bringing that up? Notre Dame favored by 23 over Stanford, 22.5 over at FanDuel. So take that for what it is. Arizona is a 3-point dog at BYU. I want to take BYU in this one, but they're also 5-0. I'm not necessarily sold on them either. I'm in a wait and see mode right now, so I'm staying away from that one. Just making sure I'm not missing anything right now. I am not. Mississippi State is a 34-point dog at the Bulldogs. So it's a Bulldog on Bulldog matchup, and there's about to be some Bulldog on Bulldog crime. All I'm hoping is that we can cover the spread. I'm not picking it, though, unfortunately. Whew, it's a tough season to be a Mississippi State fan, I'll tell you what. What else we got? Air Force, the one at Service Academy that's not doing well this year. They must feel real left out. Washington State at Fresno State. Washington State is actually a 3.5-point favorite in this game. I would sneaky lean to Fresno State in this game. I think they're a pretty solid football team that ran into a really good UNLV team that I think is a playoff contender for the G5 representative. So that's a sneaky spot. I'm not betting it, but that's a real sneaky spot with Fresno State plus 3.5. Florida at Tennessee, big time rivalry week this week. Currently, Tennessee is a 16.5-point favorite at FanDuel. I'm not sure if that number is current. Everywhere else is 14.5. ESPN bet's got a 15. They walked to the beat of their own drum. We'll just put it that way. I'm not laying 14 with Tennessee with what I just saw from them last week. I don't care if it's Florida. I just don't trust this team right now, and I don't really trust Florida either. So I'm staying away from this. I don't feel good about this at all. Sneaky lean to the under though. Tennessee's defense is very good, and Florida's defense is coming along. They're coming along nicely. So that's, if there is a play, it's the under at 57.5. I would say. Oregon State's a -3.5 or really -3-point favorite versus Nevada. No real lean there. Yes, we're coming up to another bet here. We got Ole Miss at LSU. Ole Miss is favored by 3.5, and I'm tempted to take LSU in this spot based on what I saw from Ole Miss over the course of this SEC play. But we're staying away from the spread in this game. I want to direct your attention to the over-under. It's currently sitting at 62, and that's what I got it at. That's the number that I got it at whenever I placed the bet last night. You can still get 62 in a lot of locations. We're taking that. We're jumping on it. Over 62 points in this game between Ole Miss and LSU. I just don't think either defense is all that good, and I think the offenses are going to light each other up in this game. I think 62 is, I don't know if they're going to shatter that over, but I think they're going to hit that over in this game, so that is added to the card as well. Okay, so we're going to keep it moving from here. Need to keep track of what bets I have left. Only, looks like one or two. It looks like two that we have left here in this game. In this week, rather. Jesus, what am I talking about? The big one. The big one this week. In a week full of big ones, this is the big one. Ohio State going over on the road to Autzen Stadium to play Oregon. They are a 3-point favorite in most places. You can get a 3.5 if you're one to bet on Oregon over at FanDuel and BetMGM. And those are the only ones. And Man, as far as this game prediction goes, I got to pick it, right? I absolutely have to pick it. I'm not betting it, but I do have to pick it. I just think Ohio State, with what they've shown so far this year, they're maybe the best defense in the country, and the offense is coming along nicely. With Georgia looking down this year, I think this is the year that Ohio State wins a national title. I think I'm ready to say that right now. They are the best team in the country right now. It's them, it's Texas, and then there's just a group of pretty good teams that are not on their level. I think Ohio State wins this game. I'm going to pick them to cover it. I'm not going to bet it again, but I'm going to pick them to cover. I think they make a statement in this one. And ultimately, we'll see what happens with Texas. I have a hard time seeing Ohio State bumping Texas if Texas wins in impressive fashion. But if Ohio State just comes out here and shocks the world, they win like 45-10 or something like that, it's going to be hard to not put them at number one in the poll next week. This is a big game. I like Ohio State to win it. And we'll see where Oregon goes from there, but I just think Ohio State is the cream of the crop this year in college football, and I'm ready to stake my well, not my reputation, but stake my opinion on that. Okay, so we'll keep it moving from here. Vandy is a 13-point dog at Kentucky. I mean, this could literally be a little bit of a hangover spot for them, so I'm staying away from it. I don't feel good about either of these teams. I don't think Kentucky's that good. I think Vanderbilt is feisty, but they're coming off like the biggest win in program history, pretty much. And that's not an exaggeration to say. So I'm staying away from this. This is a real hangover spot that I just don't want to mess with. And of course, we have got our next bet here for this one. The odds have swung wildly on this. So right now the line is 3 in most places in favor of Iowa State, 3.5 over at FanDuel, which is wild because I placed my bet there before on this, and they were at 2.5 whenever I placed it. So I locked it in at 2.5. I still like this at 3. I think Iowa State gets the job done in this one. It's a hostile road environment, don't get me wrong, but I think Iowa State has the goods. I think they're rounding into form, and I think they're going to improve to 6-0. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to cover, and I think they do so comfortably in this one, so I'm adding them to the card. -2.5. Everyone else, get them at -3. I think they're still a good bet at that number. Syracuse at NC State. Syracuse favored by 2.5 over at FanDuel. 3 pretty much everywhere else. I like Syracuse in this matchup. I think NC State is god-awful, and I think Syracuse is a nice, young, up-and-coming team. Oh, yeah, I forgot I had one more college football bet to share with you. Right now, are you aware that Minnesota, going on the road to UCLA, is a 3.5-point favorite over at FanDuel right now? We're jumping on that number. 3.5. UCLA is so bad, just so disgustingly and horrifyingly bad. They're not only, I mean, much like USC, they're not ready for Big Ten play. They don't have the horses to defend Big Ten offenses. They don't have the horses to defend the running game. But at least USC's got an offense. UCLA has nothing. Absolutely nothing. And Minnesota just beat USC last week. I think they win this game. I think they cover. I know it's a long road trip. I just think they're going to win this game fairly comfortably. So I'm taking them at -3.5. And the final bet of this illustrious college football slate, Kansas State and Colorado. First off, Kansas State is favored by 3.5 across the board. We're not worrying about that line, not that particular line. What we're looking at right now, eyeing up with the binoculars, if you will, over-under is 55.5. Now listen, folks. I've seen both these defenses play, particularly Colorado, going up against this Kansas State offense. I think Colorado is going to torch Kansas State's defense. I think Kansas State is going to return the favor on the other side of the ball. I think this is going to be a Big 12 classic, man. I feel like this is really going to be an explosive football game. I love the over at 55 points in this game, so I'm adding it to the slates. That is the final college football bet. Only games after it are a Boise State at Hawaii. That's a tough road trip if there ever was one, but Ashton Genty is going to probably torch Hawaii in this one. They're favored by 20.5. I would probably lean fairly heavily towards Boise State in this game. Over-under 59.5, by the way. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a whole lot of over-unders for Boise State that dip below 60. So, hey, might want to jump on that. I'm not, but there you have it. There is the week for college football. We're going to just kind of zip through the NFL here real quick. Let's get a quick time check here in just a second. Give me 2 minutes. Hopefully not 2 whole minutes, but okay. So we got that pulled up. Check the time. Hour 10. Perfect. Let me just get another quick sip here so I don't go totally hoarse. I want to stay a human if I have any choice in the matter. Okay. So, on with business here. Let's talk about the NFL slate for this upcoming week. So, I got a couple bets in this one. And, the lines are moving fairly quickly on this game. I need to check. Yeah, I mean, it says for this game in London on Sunday morning that the Bears in one place are plus 1 point dog. Actually, that's Hard Rock in Ohio, so that's kind of a regional thing. I guess they're setting their own lines, I suppose, but it's mostly ones across the board. I ultimately took the Bears at 1.5 in this game. This is a game they have to win, and I think they're a better football team than the Jaguars. I get it's basically a home game for the Jaguars over there in London, with how much they send them over there. But I just think the Bears are a solid football team, and they're going to start building a playoff resume going forward here. And I think it starts with this one. So I got a minus 1.5. You can get them 1 in a lot of places, so you're actually doing better than me. That is another of my bets for this week. I have one more hiding in the slate, but let's just move down the list here. Ravens are favored by 6.5 versus the Commanders. I would definitely lean the Commanders in this one. Over-under is 51.5. I would lean the over on that too. I feel like neither of these defenses can stop either of these offenses, so I think it could be another fun shootout after what the Ravens had last week. Looking forward to that one. That should be a fun 1 o'clock game. Texans are favored by 6.5. 6.5, 7, just kind of shop around just based on what you want to bet there. I would lean the Texans. I know the Patriots are starting Drake May this week, but I just think that the Patriots are probably the worst team in the NFL right now, and it's pretty sad to watch. Over under 37.5. You just can't bet the over in a Patriots game. You simply can't. Browns are 9.5 point dogs. I think the only 9 you can find is over at Caesars right now. Even juice on it too. Doesn't look like that number is really moving. So hey, if you want that -9 for the Eagles, jump on it. I don't really trust the Eagles enough to bet that one, so we're staying away from that. I would definitely lean them though. Would definitely lean in their direction, especially since they got a bunch of injured guys coming back. This could be another bad Browns loss, and at some point, you just got to pull the plug, man. You just got to pull the plug. Over under 42.5. I'd probably lean the under on that, honestly. I just don't know how many points the Browns are going to score. Colts are 2.5 point dogs at the Titans. That's going to be a real sad matchup. I guess give me the Colts. They're both bad, but give me the Colts, I suppose. Over under's 43. I don't have any lean on that, really. These are just bad football teams. Cardinals at the Packers. Packers favored by 5 in most places. You can get some 5.5s in there if you're looking to bet on the Cardinals. I would definitely lean the Packers in this one. Cardinals are feisty though. You know, give me the Cardinals at plus 5.5. I'm not betting it, but give me the Cardinals in this one. Over under. You can find some 47s out there. I actually kind of like the over on this one. I feel like the Cardinals offense can really do some things, and the Packers, we already know what they are with Jordan Love. So love that a lot. Buccaneers are favored by 3.5. Over under is 41.5. That's across the board against the Saints. I don't know. I guess I would kind of lean the Saints. I'm just not really sure how good the Bucs are. I'm not really sure how good the Saints are, to be fair, but I'm not really sure how good the Bucs are. I would definitely lean the over at that 41.5. I know things kind of get weird in these NFC South matchups sometimes with the scoring, but I feel like that 41.5 could be solid. That could be a little bit of an undergauging of how these offenses match up with these opposing defenses. And of course, at some point you're going to get the obligatory fight between Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans. We already know that's going to happen. You can set your alarm clocks to it. It's fight week. It's fight week, and Tampa Bay, they got hit pretty hard with Milton this week. They might be looking to prove something. So you know what? With that said, hey, Buccaneers -3.5. Well, let's lean with them, shall we? We're not going to bet with them. We're going to lean with them. Steelers are on the road, -3-point favorite versus the Raiders. My lean is the Steelers. My lean is definitely the Steelers in this game. I just don't like what I've been seeing from them the last 2 weeks. I'm going to stay away from this one, but my lean is the Steelers. Over-under is 36.5 points. I would still lean the under. This is a gross football game. The Steelers are the Iowa football of the NFL, right down to the color scheme. Chargers at the Broncos. Chargers are favored by 3. I really debated betting on this game. I think the Chargers should cover this. I feel like this is the type of game that you bring Jim Harbaugh in to win. Games that you're expected to win, but the point spread is a little bit closer than you would like. I think this is a game that Jim Harbaugh wins and covers, so it's a heavy lean to the Chargers, but Broncos has just been playing so much better recently. Sean Payton's still a really solid head coach. The defense is legit. I feel like this is going to be a rock fight of a game, and I could really see the Broncos winning it still. So that's why I'm staying away from it. Over-under's 35.5. I don't know, man. I feel like that's about as low as you can responsibly set a line, so I don't want to bet the under on that one. Lions are favored by 3 versus the Cowboys. I really want to add this to the slip, man. And I might bet it with my own money. I've got too many bets right now. Honestly, I can't be putting in any more bets than I already have, quite frankly. So I'll probably stay away from it just on principle. But I love the Lions in this game. I just don't think the Cowboys are good at all. And they just put Marshawn Nealon on the IR. So they're gonna. I mean, they have no defensive linemen. I mean, they have no one on defense right now. And the Lions, I mean, that's right. That's the strength of their defense right there. And you know what? I just convinced myself. I am adding the Lions -3 against the Cowboys. I think this one is not even going to be close. I think the Lions get a blowout win in this one. That's why I'm betting a -3. I love this bet so much I talk myself into it. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Cowboys are they're not a very good team. The Lions are, and the Lions' strengths match up very favorably with the Cowboys' weaknesses from a Lions perspective. So there you go. You talked me into my 9th bet of the day, or of the week. So we're relaunching the offensive against the board, and it continues here in this next pick. Falcons, Panthers. Falcons are favored by 6. I'm staying away from that. What I am looking at here very closely is right now, as of this recording, you can get a 46.5 on the over-under at ESPN Bet and at FanDuel. We're hopping on that 46.5 on the over. The Panthers are basically just an automatic over bet for me right now. Their offense is just good enough with Andy Dalton at quarterback to where they can score some points on you, and the defense is atrocious. They're just Swiss cheese on that end of the field. And they've gotten worse with injuries, too. So 46.5. With the way the Falcons are playing right now, I think they're going to score a lot of points. Hell, they might cover this over-under by themselves. If the what we saw from the Panthers defense last week against the Bears was any indication, I like this over-under 46.5, and it's my final bet of this week, unless I really get talked into one here going forward. But let's hope not. Let's just hope not. Either way, Bengals are 3.5-point favorites against the Giants. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. This is a real bad spot for the Bengals here, man. The Giants are a live dog. Real live dog. You cannot take them lightly. Over-under's 47 in this one. Obviously, any game the Bengals are playing, I'm leaning the over. And the Giants have sneaky been looking better on offense here recently. Daniel Jones looking downright serviceable. Giants, about the livest a dog could possibly be. I might sprinkle some money on the money line here for the Giants. I just don't think the Bengals are all that good. I think the defense is going to hold them back from winning. Okay, so Bills -2.5 on the Monday night game versus the Jets to round this thing out. So yeah, like I said, -2.5-point favorites. Jets just fired their head coach. Over-under is, you can get a 40.5 over at FanDuel. You get 41 pretty much everywhere else, essentially. So that's cool. That's fun. I have no real lean in this game. I like to stay away from teams that have the possibility of having an interim head coach bump. So that's my reasoning here. We'll see if they play a little bit better for Jeff Ulbrich. I mean, just based on the vibes of the Jets, though, I'm picking the Bills for the sake of the show. I'm not betting on the game, but I'm picking the Bills minus 2.5. The Jets are a shit show. The Bills are a well-run organization. I don't overthink this one. Just I'm picking the Bills in this game, and I would lean I'd lean the under. I trust both of these defenses enough to kind of keep them in check, but I do lean the Bills in this one pretty heavily. Okay, so there you go. That's the preview of this week. My goodness, the fact that I kept that, under an hour and a half, I feel pretty good about that. Feel pretty good. I don't know how much valuable information I was handing out to you, but I feel pretty good about being able to keep this in a easily digestible package lengthwise. So, one more time, rounding it up, and there's 2 bets that I added while I was going through the slate that I'm going to officially place after we stop recording here. So, here it is. Kansas State, Colorado, over 55.5 points. Ole Miss, LSU, over 62 points. Penn State, minus 3.5 at USC. Iowa State, minus 2.5 at West Virginia. Minnesota, minus 3.5 at UCLA. Bears, minus 1.5 at the Jags, or versus the Jags, rather. And you can actually get that number for minus 1 now, so good for you all. Falcons, 46.5. We're taking the over there. And then 2 we just added. Rutgers, minus 1.5 versus Wisconsin. And the Lions, minus 3 at the Cowboys. This could be the week that we really break through, folks. Let's keep the hot streak going. If you're tailing me, glad to have you along for this ride. I'm looking to be a good fiduciary with your money on this betting sort of stuff. Look at me using big SAT words. Go look it up if you don't know what it means, kids. Either way, though, that'll be all for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Unqualified Analysis. Thank you for bearing with me with the crazy travel schedule. Thank you for being patient with this episode this week. I took a fairly unexpected week off there, I suppose. And I can't guarantee it won't happen again. Things are busy right now for me, but can't stress enough how awesome things are right now. So with that said, again, thank you for tuning in to Unqualified Analysis. If you enjoyed this, share it with a friend. Obviously, the socials are in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. I'm a little bit rusty right now for whatever reason, so I forgot to mention that at the top of this show. Oopsies. So yeah, you can go ahead and follow me at CalebVUA on the Twitters, shoot me a DM, or go to the email unqualifiedanalysis@gmail.com if you want to communicate with me, communicate with the show. Anything like that is appreciated, and input is noted. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to Unqualified Analysis. As always, I've got zero clue what I'm talking about. But this one, and it's one that I probably should have brought up during the actual game itself whenever we recapped it, but it's a fun fact that had to get bumped to the top of the line here, because one thing I'd learned this week, and this is a legit one obviously, due to the rain delay on Sunday nights, Dak Prescott became the first player in NFL history to throw an interception on 2 different days during the same game. Hilarious fact, honestly, and I hope for the best for Dak, because he's the best in Mississippi State history. That's a funny stat, though. That's a real funny stat. With that, though, I leave you. I bid you adieu. I wish you a happy and wonderful weekend, a safe weekend, a responsible weekend. Don't be betting the mortgage here, man. Your boy is swinging a hot bat. I'm still betting responsibly, though, man. I'm not betting more than I can bet. Follow your boy's lead. Bet responsibly. Bet the beer money, not the rent money. Okay, on that note, I've got my disclaimer out of the way. It's time to cut this thing and get it up as fast as possible. I will talk to y'all on Tuesday. See ya.